Hello, everyone. My name is Sumeet Verlekar, and I'm the founder of Tilden Education. I wanted to create this video primarily to talk about what to expect when you join Tilden Global Education. Obviously, it's going to be a substantial investment in your career. Uh, the degrees that you pursue and the universities that you get can have a remarkable impact on the career trajectory that you enjoy in the medium term, at least, right? So it's important to get that particular decision very, very right. We basically were built to help you try and elevate your chances. So if you on your own, for example, can get to X, then if you come to us, our entire proposal is that we should be able to take you beyond X, right? To X plus whatever schools, right? So maybe on your own, you can get into maybe a top 30 school. But if you come to us, right, the whole proposition as to why we were founded in the first place was that we believe we have the capability to potentially take you to the next level. And that is basically what we honestly try in our entire process. So the first thing that happens once you join is a profile deep dive. Your profile has an inordinate amount of weightage in the application for foreign universities. They do not only care about what your rank is or what your academic record is or what your GMAT or your GRE score is or your SAT score is. What they really care about also in addition to that is how what kind of a member of a community will you become and what will you add to the school, right? There is also the whole idea about, do you understand the school well enough? Do you understand the program well enough? Do you know why you are applying to that program, right? And what are the larger goals that you seek to achieve after you join that particular program? So because the profile has such a huge weightage, we try to spend a lot of time when you join in understanding who you are and what you bring to the table. This we call as a profile deep dive. In the profile deep dive, we will try to understand a very large variety of things about you, right? Right from your academic background to your professional background to your internships, maybe your volunteering or any other commitments, any particular extracurricular activities that you have done, right? We want everything we want to understand, which enables us to understand you well as an applicant and then come back to you and tell you, here are your strengths, here are your gaps, and here is what you can do to eliminate or reduce those gaps. All right. So that is going to be a very important first engagement after you join. Based on these kind of insights, what we will also provide to you is what are your winning stories, right? What are the things which you have done, which would be attractive to the type of audience that you're trying to appeal to, which is the admissions committee here, right? So what type of stories will appeal to the adcom and hence elevate your chances if they are used in the right manner in the application, right? The third thing that we do is help you create a USP, right? A USP essentially is a unique selling proposition. So how can you create a compelling narrative about yourself that can highlight all your strengths, that can potentially, make your weaknesses less apparent or redundant in a way so that they pick you versus maybe some of the other applicants, right? We also in the first few weeks we will also try and have a fairly intense discussion around what your goals are, why do you want the degree, why do you want the degree now, and so on and so forth, right? At the end of this entire initial engagement, you should have a fairly good idea about who you are, why do you want the degree, and what is the USP or what is the unique proposition as to why they should pick you. All right. Once all of these things are done, we can move to the next step, which is the shortlisting of schools. The school shortlisting is a very important criteria, regardless of what program you are coming to us for, right? Um, you will have a decidedly better chance if you apply to schools which have a fit with your goal, and also you have a cultural fit with the school and the university as well. They want to know the authentic voice, the authentic contributions that you can make to the school community. And that is basically what we seek to get out of you in the profile deep dive as well, and then apply it across the rest of the process, right? So when you're thinking about the shortlisting of schools, we would also look at a lot of internal data about past clients, and there's a huge volume of data that we have where we will try to map and we'll try to find out people like you, and we will try to understand what they have done and maybe if applicable, use some of those insights to guide you and help you gain a competitive advantage there. Right. The next step would be the application. So once you are done with the shortlisting, we will move on to the actual applications. Right. Now, depending on what program you are applying, yeah, some of the common documents that are needed. First is your essays or statement of purpose, your resume, your letters of recommendation, and of course, there are a lot of questions which are there potentially in the online form that you have to fill. And finally, you have the interview, right? Some programs require a face-to-face interview or an online interview. Some programs do not. So that really depends on program to program. So that's kind of the key thing there, right? So once you understand what schools you are applying to, we would then provide you insights on how do you attack or how do you deal with each of these documents so that you can put yourself at a competitive advantage again, right? So the essays, for example, we would like to probably provide you guidance about every single school separately versus giving you a common guidance and say, all right, go ahead and do it, right? So we would like to customize that at a school level. We would also like to provide you a lot of insights about potentially what people who have gotten admits into schools have done in the past, right? So we'll provide you some of those insights as well, where applicable. And then we will obviously help you make your resume. There are some very specific things that we would advocate you to do in your resume, which we will share with you once you join. How do you write your points, right? How do you bring out the impact further? How do you create differentiation about yourself through your resume are things that are very, very important. Yes. The letters of recommendation is where the admissions committees will get a third party perspective about you, so that maybe depending again on where you are in your career, if you're a student, then probably you might need to take letters of recommendation from your professors or your teachers. If you are a working professional and you have about 4 or 5 years of experience plus, then you will probably need to provide letters of recommendations from your manager or manager's manager or peers or someone like that. If you are a student, you still may have done certain internships, right? So you might also want to take the letters of recommendation from an internship manager or something like that. So we will guide you on what would be the best recommended choice, okay? And then basis of that, you can then work with your recommender and help them sort of bring out the best points, right? We will also help you potentially, create certain pointers. If your recommender needs them, then we will create those pointers jointly and you can then submit that to the recommender. Okay. And then it's obviously up to the recommender. The recommendations must strictly be written by the recommender and not you. Just keep that in mind, right? It's just absolutely unethical to be able to write your own recommendation letters. But yes, we definitely encourage you to potentially tell your recommender, because they are very busy people, to try and bring some of the most relevant points about you out in the story, right? And then we've seen that most recommenders are fairly supportive of, because they really want to help you. So yeah, just help them help you better, right? Once these things are done, and that probably is a nutshell, bulk of the things that you have to provide for every single school. Now, some schools may have 2 essays, right, or 3 essays or 4 essays. Certain schools, like for example, some of the European schools like INSEAD might have 7 or 8 essays, right? So it all depends on what kind of schools and what is the workload, on the basis of which you have to then decide when to start, right? We definitely advocate you to start almost close to about a 12 to 18 months before you actually plan to apply. That is, in our view, gives you ample time to do all this strategic thinking about how you're going to present yourself, what your main stories are, etc. And also then get a compelling test score to go on with your applications, right? Then, of course, there is the interview. And in interview, we provide you a couple of mock interview practices. We will give you school-specific interview insights so that you can really present your best, right? So that's kind of the whole process, where in the beginning, we basically seek to understand your profile, strengthen the profile, build a very solid strategy and USP around it. And then in the later half of the process, we will help you execute that particular strategy, execute that story, and again, try to fit it with the school and what the school culture and demands are, right? So that's kind of the overall process across all programs that we adopt. So that in a nutshell is the Tilden process. Right now, I also want to share with you how do you join the Tilden cohort across different programs. So the easiest way is to send us an email. So you can email us at connect@tilden.in and send your LinkedIn profile and your resume. Right? I will repeat that we need to see your LinkedIn profile and your resume almost mandatorily, because we want to be able to evaluate you and put you in touch with the right member of our team who might be either working with you, or you may want to have a short call with them, right, to resolve whatever doubts. So I would request you to also provide your resume and your LinkedIn profile so that we can look at what you have to offer and put you in touch with the right people. For us, it's also important that we do not take everybody who wants to join us, right? Because if it's not right for you, we want to be in a position to tell you also, if let's say you're trying to go for a MBA program or a MIM program or a MS program, and let's say those expectations are to join some specific universities. If we believe your profile does not measure up to that, right? Or there could be potentially a lot of work that is needed, we would rather recommend you to not to join us and potentially, maybe work on your profile, strengthen it for a little bit time, and then go for a really good school. Remember the type of school that you will go after, right? We would always like you to join quality schools, right? And if it takes a little bit more time, we are all about it. So because we want to give you the right guidance and the right uh, next steps, and whenever you decide to join us, we'll be more than happy to work with you, right? But that decision is something that should be right for you, and that to us today matters the most, right? So we will always try to provide you the most accurate guidance to the best of our ability, and then of course the choice to join us is yours alone, right? So you send us that email. We will then send you the details of our packages. You can select what type of school packages you need, right? We have a wide range of school packages, which is the number of schools that you want to apply to. After you do that, you basically, transfer the fee, you sign the terms and conditions, and you become a part of the Tilden cohort. So I hope this was useful, and I've certainly tried to cover this in a bit greater depth so that you can truly understand how we really run our cohorts. And if you have any further questions, feel free to reach out to our support team. They are at connect@tilden.in. All right. All the very best. And I hope to hear from you very, very soon. Bye-bye.